One of the great regrets of my life is that I smoked. If I could say anything to anybody starting out in life, it would be, whatever you do, don't smoke. Bill Nye. Welcome to Let Me Hustle. In today's episode, we're unraveling a moment etched into many of our pasts. My first cigarette. The myth of the first. Why do we remember firsts so vividly? First kiss. First heartbreak. First cigarette. These moments act as psychological anchors. They're not just events, they're identity experiments. And smoking? It's one of the most potent, paradoxical experiments of all. You knew the risks. Your school warned you. Ads plastered with diseased lungs. Yet you lit it anyway. Why? Because logic rarely wins against the stories we tell ourselves. Stories like, this will make me belong, or this will prove I'm not afraid. That first cigarette isn't about tobacco. It's about the gap between who you are and who you desperately want to be. The two faces of rebellion. Let's dissect the psychology. When you inhaled for the first time, two conflicting scripts played out. The social script. Maybe you were with friends. Maybe it was a dare. Smoking bonds people through shared rebellion, a way to say, we're in this together. It's social currency, a badge of courage. For 15 minutes, you felt invincible, accepted, and seen. The inner script. But for some, that first drag was quieter, solitary, a rebellion against the good kid label or a numbing ritual for unresolved pain. It whispered, this is how I take control. Here's the catch. Both scripts sell the same lie, that smoke can fill an emotional void. The addiction you don't see. Nicotine hooks the brain, but the deeper addiction is identity. Think about it. After that first cigarette, you didn't just crave a chemical. You craved the story, the version of yourself that felt cooler, calmer, and more connected. Every subsequent cigarette reinforced that identity. And that's the trap. Over time, smoking stops being a choice and becomes a character trait. You're not just doing something unhealthy, you're being someone. The rebel, the stress survivor, the social smoker. But identities are cages. The tighter they grip, the harder it is to breathe. Why quitting feels like a death. This explains why quitting sparks grief. You're not just fighting withdrawal, you're mourning a version of yourself. Who are you without the smoke breaks? The camaraderie? The crutch? It's terrifying to realize how much of your identity was built on a habit. And here's the cruel twist. The smarter you are, the harder it is. You rationalize, I'll quit after finals, or I only smoke socially. Intelligence becomes a tool to defend the addiction, not dismantle it. The silent role of shame. Shame thrives in secrecy. Many smokers hide their habit, not just from others, but from themselves. You minimize it, it's just a few a day, or justify it. I'm stressed, I deserve this. But shame isolates. It tells you, you're weak for starting, weaker for not stopping. And isolation, it fuels the cycle. You smoke to mute the shame, which deepens the shame, which demands more smoking. A closed loop with no exit, until you rewrite the script. How to break free without losing yourself. Unmask the story. Ask, what did smoking mean to me? Did it mean belonging, control, adulthood? Name the unmet need. Separate action from identity. You are not a smoker. You're a complex human who sometimes smoked. Language matters. Detach the habit from your self-worth. Create new rituals. Replace smoke breaks with walks, journaling, or tea. Rituals rewrite neural pathways. They signal, I'm still me, even without the smoke. Embrace the awkward. Early sobriety feels alien. You'll fumble in social settings. You'll crave the crutch. That's okay. Growth isn't smooth. It's clumsy, human, and real. The quiet power of boredom. Here's the truth no one admits. Recovery is boring. There's no drama in sipping water instead of lighting up, no romance in chewing gum. But boredom is where healing happens. It's the space where you rebuild an identity not tied to chaos or escape. And yes, it's lonely at first. Smoking bonds people through shared struggle, but quitting is a solo journey. Yet, on the other side of loneliness is a deeper connection. The kind that comes from being present, unguarded, and finally honest. If you've ever held that first cigarette, or clung to a habit you knew harmed you, this isn't about judgment, it's about compassion. We all cling to stories to survive. But here's the hope. Stories can be rewritten. Identities can evolve. So, if this resonated, if you've ever felt trapped by a version of yourself that no longer fits, leave a comment. Tell us, what's a first that shaped you? You'd be surprised how many of us are relearning how to breathe. Thanks for joining Let Me Hustle. Remember, you're not defined by your past, only by what you choose to carry forward. Take care of your mind. I'll see you next time.